Welcome to Southeast News on Signature TV. I hope you're having a great day. I am Barikumo Ado. Let's start with the headlines. Enugu Assembly to regulate tenancy fees. Abia government to fight cyber crimes and misinformation. For details, stay with us and we'll be right back. The Enugu State House of Assembly has introduced a bill to curb alleged excesses in agency and legal fees for tenancy agreements. The House explained that the bill was in response to growing complaints from residents about the rising exploitation of tenants and prospective tenants by landlords. Titled Bill for a Law to Amend the Landlord and Tenant Law, Cap 101, Laws of Enugu State 2024. Proposed legislation sponsored by the member representing Kano East State Constituency, Okemba, went through the first reading on Tuesday. Among other provisions, the bill seeks to regulate agency and legal fees by capping them at a maximum of 10%. It also aims to abolish the long-standing practice of caution fees charges imposed on tenants by landlords that are rarely refunded at the end of tenancy. The bill also aims to protect tenants from forced, irregular, and fraudulent evictions by establishing legally defined eviction timelines and notice periods. Additionally, it proposes that individuals wishing to operate as land agents or property managers must be properly certified by relevant authorities. It also seeks to empower a designated government ministry or agency to issue further regulations on housing and tenancy matters in Enugu State. Speaking to journalists after the bill's first reading, Mba described the initiative as aligning with the earnest desires of the people and residents of Enugu State. Expressed confidence that the bill will receive overwhelming support from the House members as it seeks to address widespread concerns affecting their constituencies. Earlier, Signature TV news anchor Ngozi Mba had a discussion with Barrister Uche Maduemesi on Enugu State Assembly moves to regulate tenancy fees and landlord charges.
Can you walk us through the key provisions of the proposed bill, particularly those related to capping agency and legal fees?
Thank you once again. From what I have and what I also had over the media, the main concern of the House of Assembly or even the sponsor of the bill was a situation where they will take care of the exorbitant charges which the people go through now from the agents. There are even situations where you might be trying to rent a house of maybe 100,000, then you will be required to pay an agency fee of even equal the rent you are supposed to pay. So what government is trying to do, according to the sponsor of the bill, assuming it goes through and signed into law, is to check the excesses of the agents and high fees or high rents being charged in most places, which is prevalent now in everywhere, not only Enugu, the whole Nigeria, as the case may be. That's what I think is what they want to address. But again, firstly, I want to say that the bill is commendable if at the end of the day it goes through. But again, there should be a holistic look at it. If the primary objective of the government is to ensure that the populace people of Enugu State, that they can afford, they be in a position to afford shelters over their head, by that I mean accommodation, then government has to also look inwards and play a key role in doing that. What do I mean by that? First, all these people are independent people and they are buying materials with which they build their houses at a very exorbitant prices. If government wants to check how much people rent their houses, then they have to check the cost of building materials which people are buying from in the markets. So we have to start from the beginning. That is my view. Then by that time, if there's price control, then they'll be in a better position to peg. If you are having a 3-bedroom flat at so location, this is how much it's going to be. This is how much your rent is going to be. Then again, coming to the agents, as a matter of fact, who are the agents? Anybody now go about say he or she is an agent. Then they have to decide who the agents are, who are qualified to be called agents. Then from the bill, they are now saying that the State Housing Corporation, it will now be within their purview to decide who an agent get them. Again, like I said, they have to look inwards. The Housing Corporation, the ones they have. I know they have houses here and there. How much are they selling the land? How much? The houses they are building, how much are they selling to people? Because they are part of the people to help have an affordable accommodation for the populace. It is not only the private individuals who eke out their living to probably get a property built, then with the hope of earning some income from the building. What about the government? We should be talking about mass housing. If we have housing estates scattered all over the places which are affordable, then the number of people the number of people falling into private hands will be limited. So I think it's a holistic view. The government has a role to play. Every other person has a role to play. So let me keep it at that. Then I hear from you again. Hello. Hello, I'm not hearing you.
What potential challenges or loopholes do you foresee in the implementation of this bill, and how can they be addressed?
If I heard you well, you talked about the challenges.
Yes,
one of the challenges
and how they can be addressed.
One of the challenges will be who are the qualified agents? Who are the people we can say are the agents? Because now you've given it to the Housing Corporation to decide who the agents are, to regulate the practice, and most probably register them, ascribe fees to be paid, whether to renew annually and all the rest. Then again, Nigerian factor will come in. Who are the agents? How will they regulate the practices of the agents? I would have thought that the government or probably the sponsor of the bill should have included in the bill that those agents, to be an agent, you must be a registered estate management firm. You must have an estate management firm. Then you say that that person is an agent. That firm must be registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Then you know that there are professionals in there. Now, what we have people maybe looking for job who have failed businesses or whatever, they are going up and down, saying that they are agents. Anywhere there is land or there is house, once he goes and points at the building, he will tell his agent and he will be putting money for you. All these things, we have to take care of them. The government has to really ascribe who are the agents. There should be a minimum standard. If you're a professional, for instance, you're a lawyer, you must have gone to the university, go to law school. Then if you're an agent, if you want to be involved in real estate, at least you must have done 1 or 2 courses in real estate. Then you now know how to do the management and all the rest. So these are the issues. So the challenge I'm foreseeing is the Nigerian factor. The Housing Corporation, who are going to regulate? What about the people working there? Will they be transparent in in saying this person is an agent and this person is not an agent.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Uche. Madam Mercy, for joining us on the news on Signature TV. We appreciate your contribution, sir.
Thank you so very much. I wish them luck. The bill is okay if they are going to see it through, if they are going to be transparent about it. But again, the government has a role to play. They should put down the cost of raw materials.
The All Progressives Congress acting chairman in Enugu State, Alphonsus Nwafo, on Tuesday announced the expulsion of a suspended state chairman, Ugochukwu Agbala, and 8 other self-acclaimed executive members for gross misconduct. In a statement issued at the end of its executive meeting, Charles Solo Ako, State Publicity Secretary, claimed that Agbala and other expelled members had allegedly disobeyed court orders, undermining the party's constitution, values, and principles. The statement was jointly signed by Alphonsus Nwafo and Ako. They were also accused of arresting and intimidating party members who identified with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during a state visit to Enugu on January 4, 2025. Meanwhile, the APC Enugu State chapter has assured its members and stakeholders of its commitment to repositioning the party and upholding its constitution and values. The Southeast Caucus in the House of Representatives has urged the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, to consider reopening the ONITSHA BRIDGEHEAD market in Anambra. Leader of the caucus, Igariwe Emo, made a call at a news conference held at the National Assembly complex on Tuesday in Abuja. Speaking at the news conference, Emo said that the caucus unequivocally condemned the nefarious activities of unscrupulous traders in the market. The lawmaker said that the activities of a businessmen and women do not only negatively affect public health, but had also directly or indirectly led to loss of lives. Described those involved in such activities as death merchants and economic saboteurs, as the activities were not open to government scrutiny and taxation. And on behalf of the caucus, also commended NAFDAC for its intervention in halting the activities of the merchants of death all over the country. They have urged the agency not to punish the innocent and genuine traders, as well as drug users alongside the criminal elements, and will urge NAFDAC to quickly resolve the situation by prosecuting the offenders and sanitize the entire medical ecosystem across the country. NAFDAC had recently sealed over 4,000 shops in Onitsha, 3,027 in Lagos, and 4,000 in Aba since it commenced its ongoing nationwide operations to clamp down on fake and substandard medicines in the country. Operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Anambra State Command, have arrested 2 suspected members of a tricycle snatching syndicate notorious for dispossessing operators and passengers of their belongings. State NSCDC Commandant Olatunde Mako confirmed the arrest at the command's headquarters in Oka on Wednesday, stating that the suspects were apprehended after allegedly snatching a tricycle at Araba, Umuzocha, Oka. Mako identified the arrested suspects as Obum Charles of Umezi Road, Amodu Village, Oka, and Chukwunonso Eke of number 36 Onwenyago Street, Amachala, Oka. Mako disclosed that the duo are assisting the command with information that could lead to the arrest of their fleeing accomplice, adding that investigations were ongoing and the suspects will be prosecuted upon completion. Abia State government has issued a stern warning against the spread of false information, making it clear that individuals or groups found guilty of violating the Cybersecurity Act and Data Protection Act will face prosecution. This announcement was made by the Commissioner for Information, OK Kano, during a press briefing on the outcome of this week's State Executive Council SEC meeting chaired by Governor Alex Oti. Kano emphasized the administration's intolerance for the deliberate dissemination of misinformation, especially when cloaked under the guise of political opposition. Kano highlighted the potential consequences of reckless dissemination of fake news, which can lead to public disorder and unnecessary panic. while affirming that the current administration has nothing to hide. Kanu pointed out that spreading falsehoods infringes upon the rights of others. Commissioner reiterated that both the Cybersecurity Act and the Data Protection Act are legally binding in Nigeria. Abia State Governor Alex Oti will officially flag off the construction of the Mbala Umako Ngodo Road in Umanochi local government area on Wednesday, February 26, 2025. In a release by the State Commissioner for Information, OK Kanu, said 11.27 kilometers road project, which will be handled by IAC Allied Tech and Construction Company Limited, is a testament to Governor Oti's unwavering commitment to modernizing Abia's road network and enhancing the economic potential of rural communities. The flag-off ceremony will take place at the end of the road at Ngodo, marking the commencement of yet another transformative project aimed at improving connectivity, easing transportation, and fostering socio-economic growth in Umanochi and beyond. The list therefore invites stakeholders, political appointees from the area, community leaders, party faithful, and residents of Umanochi local government area to witness the historic event. And that's the news. We'll take you to Abuja for a conversation today on issues surrounding socio-economic growth in the Southeast. The interview and conversation is conducted by our colleague.
Every second, every minute.
Summit. What was it all about and what was the outcome?
Yeah, thank you very much, viewers, and thank you for this opportunity. We held a Southeast, Made in Southeast Business and Investment Summit Group between 11th and 13th December last year. The summit was a partnership-driven program because we looked at our homeland, the Southeast. We have area of comparative advantage, and that is business. And we found that we are not actually using business to drive development and growth of Southeast. And the partnership, the jigging between government and the business sector seems not to be sticking. And even among the government seems not to be working together. So we felt that why not we use business to propel development in the Southeast. That is where the concept started, and then we started growing partnerships because no one group can do it. So we brought all the partners together, partnering with international agencies like United Nations Industrial Development Organization, United Nations Development Program, and other international agencies, partnering with federal agencies like NEBSA, like SMIDAM, like all those agencies that hitherto are not having meaningful presence in the Southeast. So we started partnering with them. Then we brought the investor group, the business group from across the world. Some came from the United States, some came from Caribbean, some came from Europe. And then those in Nigeria, parts of Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, Port Harcourt, we all converged in Enugu. So, and we discussed how do we propel investment into the Southeast? How do we propel businesses into the Southeast? Because when we propel business in the Southeast, we bring expose the Southeast to the world, to the rest of the world, and make the good news to come from Southeast. It's that people will hear about one type of issue or the other. We don't want to talk about negatives these days because every part of the world have their own negative. But if you push collective good news, it will overtake the negatives. I always tell people when we are doing this, planning the summit, some people say, oh, why not do the summit in Abuja, do it in Lagos? After all, I say, how can I do a SAT? We do a SAT in business and investment summit
in diaspora.
In diaspora. It hasn't gone to time. They say, oh, the security. I said, do you know the volume of insecurity in New York? In Lagos, the insecurity in Lagos is more than the whole Southeast. The only things that good news come from all those places. So tend to wipe off or cover up the bad side of things. So essentially, that is how we converged. And a reputable figure, our own best to the world, all were there. The chairman of the occasion was Bio Furniture, Abubidi himself, the great businessman who was in chair for so many years before he decided to retire to go and take the throne of his ancestors. He was there for the 3 days talking to people. Our own daughter, Okonjo, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo, was sending a representation because that was the time he was running for her. She was running for her re-election. Then so many other great sons and daughters of the Igbo land all came. It was a success. It was a 3-day success, and eventually we collaborated with you know, there are things we do neglect. The free trade zone, the free trade zones in the South, it seems not to be vibrant because we seem not to think of them. Now, Enyimba Economic City has nearly 10,000 hectares of land in Abia. The Enugu Empower, that's the Enugu Free Trade Zone, is there in Enugu. We have Lion Business Park in Enugu. These are 10 places we need to develop so that we can be able to enjoy the benefits of those free zones. There are basically 18 free zones, 3 free zones, free trade zones in the Southwest. Not Southwest, Lagos Ogun, Axis only. Dangote refinery and co were able to survive because I did the free trade zone. So we want our people to start invest because most of the time it's there is insecurity, there is this. If you invest in the free trade zone, some of these things you are immune out of them because the free trade zone gives you opportunity of enjoying the so many waivers. Tax waiver, duty waiver, exports. You can import almost without paying anything. You can export your produce too. So, and if we're actually in business, we must be able to develop that. So we partnered with all the free trade zones in the Southeast, and then we came out with a very wonderful summit. And the post-summit activities have started because we believe that it's not supposed to be a talk stop. So we told them pointedly, if you are coming here to talk, we don't need to come and talk. We've been talking. It's for us to start doing things. And that is why we, post-summit, we noticed, we set up some proposed special vehicles that will drive different aspects of development. Using business. We are setting up the Southeast Trade Center. The Trade Center is to take the businesses in the Southeast to the world. It's just we're developing a database of businesses in the Southeast. As a matter of fact, this February we're taking out with a need assessment of MSMEs in the whole Southeast. So we'll be able to know their capacity, be able to know their challenges, be able to know how we can put them together and export.
Dr. Kwena, if I allow you, you almost say everything that came out of there. But you know, each summit has an outcome.
Yes.
You're conversing on the outcome.
Yes.
And one of the outcomes should be, correct me if I'm wrong, opportunities for business and investment in Southeast.
Yes, of course.
What did you expose?
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities in Southeast. Southeast is like a virgin, untapped. You know, look at where Opera stopped, when the Civil War started.
Yes.
And have you asked yourself, have we done much after that? We haven't done much. The war ended. Asika tried to rebuild the Southeast. Then we started the state creation stuff. Most of the efforts were being made to build cohesion once again, and then we found that people started running away. People abandoned the East, and then we are itinerant and we are moving everywhere but home. So now we looked at the Southeast, we look at agro section of the Southeast. We found that Southeast is has very huge opportunity for agro business and agro export. We look at the commerce in Aba. and Abia, as a matter of fact, where you have a lot of shoe, leather, garments, industries. We've been thinking of asking them to introduce making of football and the rest of them and supplying to the rest, because we don't see it anywhere. Then you look at Nnewi ONITSHA, where we notice that is a hub for automotive component parts. In addition to two major motor manufacturing companies in Anambra State, they have so many huge number of auto component parts manufacturers. Unfortunately, what we discovered in the course of that is that there is no cohesion between regulatory agencies and these producers. And most of the time, they find them trying to hide while producing. This is something similar. They exist in small places, just like in China. Yeah. They don't need big factories. Some do it in a 3-bedroom flat. They are producing. But if there is cohesion between them and the regulatory agencies, they won't have any issue. People will produce and then export. Then we notice again that the exports opportunities in Southeast Asia are becoming gradually going to zero. Officially now, but unofficially, containers, tons and tons of containers moving out of Southeast. Some through the Appian Way to Cameroon and to the rest of Central Africa. Some through night buses to Lagos and the rest of them. And then collectively, officially, zero for Southeast. So now you will say Southeast is not exporting anything, but in actual sense, they are the ones that feed Lagos, feed Port Harcourt, and feed the rest of, and then cross over there in Cameroon. Some of them produce, send it there, export it, and write it made in Italy, made in Spain, and then some of us will go import them in front shops in Europe and America. But these are our back products. So these are so many opportunities we notice in the Southeast, and then we equally notice the challenges of investors. A lot of investors, including our sons and daughters who are eager to invest, don't have the necessary encouragement. While the week was going on, somebody called me on phone and said he just established an industry in one of the Southeast states in November, but that they are in December and the agencies are already on him for taxes and all those things. I said, you're a new company and there should be tax holidays. There should be incentives to encourage you. He said, I have to extend calls to all these government agencies and start begging them, please allow these people to take off. So we must think of creating an enabling environment that will help this to grow. Then we notice the issue that, when I was talking to export, we have its own challenges because we have only one gateway. And if we discuss with the Canadian airport management, they will tell you that even that one gateway come with millions and hundreds and thousands of tons of goods into Enugu, but leave empty. Now, if they leave empty, they are there for make profit. So most of the time, cost of bringing goods into the Southeast is costlier than what it is in other parts of the country. So these are challenges we see as a people, and basically it's something we are working right now to correct some of them.
No, this your group is called Southeast Business and Investment Summit Group. And any investor would want to have information that will encourage him, data that will encourage him, what is available, what raw materials, for instance, is available, what regulatory guidelines are available. How did your summit look at this, and how the investor can access?
You see, I told you it's a partnership program. At that summit, the Raw Materials Research and Development Council was there, fully represented. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council was there, the Bank of Industry, the SMIDAM, the NEBSA, so many federal government agencies were represented. The challenges were what we are, while we are talking about partnership. Now, data is very, very important for any business. And that is why, arising from that, we took decision at that summit to establish the Southeast Trade Center. Is a trade network center, virtual and physical, that we want to put to the world, and to be able to start putting data. There are existing data, no doubt. The National Bureau of Statistics have some statistics. Media have some statistics, data that can. But we are saying yes. These are, some of them are up to 2002. Some of them are even maybe getting to current one. But we want to do a need assessment, so that in doing the need assessment of all the corporate organizations, corporate producing industries, in all the sectors in Southeast, MSMEs, micro, small, medium enterprises, and even big industries, will be able to do the need assessment, which report, which will when we finish that, we publish a report. It will give us handy
a clearer
picture of
and document somebody can refer to.
Yes, how many industries are there in Southeast? How many services? Because we are not talking about only manufacturing industry. We are talking including services, including those in music, Nollywood, and the rest of them. These are all the things we are giving to the world. So when we document it, we'll be able to now say these are capacities. How many of them are meeting their capacity utilization? Because some of them have challenges. We want to identify those challenges. Are there things we can do to solve these challenges? Some of them have access to fund. Some of them have access to market, problem of access to market. Some of them have access not being visible. Of course, that is the major challenge we discovered, that businesses in Southeast are not visible to the world. And that is the essence of that trade center, because we want to document all these things and now showcase it to the world. This is what you can get from our homeland. This is what you can get in Southeast. This is where you can get it. We want to equally ensure they are standardized, so that because we are leveraging on partnership, we're already trying to see how they can leverage on the ECOWAS protocol and the African Free Trade Continental Agreement. These are the ways we can boost the development in Southeast, because when you are doing this, you are creating wealth, fighting poverty, creating employment for a lot of people. We don't want our people to keep on leaving Southeast. Today, so many higher institutions in Southeast, as they are dropping their pen in their final degrees, and they are leaving Southeast. Those born outside Southeast are not thinking of returning. If we don't do what we are doing today, we will lose them. Like I told you before this program, we are the bridge between those who know Southeast and the young who don't know Southeast. So those in Nigeria know Lagos, know Abuja. They may not know Enugu or Omar and the rest of them. But if we succeed in what we are doing, I know we are going to succeed. People will now leave Lagos to go and look for a job in Enugu or in Abia. That's the essence of what we are doing.
Well, it's a partnership, you said.
Yes.
It's not a private sector driven, it's a collaboration.
It's a collaboration.
Let me ask you a question that is bothering me since you've been talking. And that is, how well have the Southeast governments bought into this vision? A collaboration. Are they collaborating? Is it a common vision between you? Are they a convinced partner?
Well, you can't do anything in Nigeria without government getting involved. Because if you try to do that, you shoot yourself. Success will never be there. But it's always difficult to convince a system, because at times they may not know where you are coming from. So we started by contacting governments and making sure the 5 Southeast governors are in tune with what we are doing. Discussed with the Southeast Governors Forum DG and the rest of them. So we are making effort, continuously making effort for them to imbibe into the core of what we are doing. And I'm sure that we are all partners in progress. We're all partners in the development of Southeast. So basically, I think we are working together.
You know why I ask you this question? Yeah. Most producers, most traders, most manufacturers in Nigeria complain about uncoordinated policies. You move into Nasarawa State, the policy on the same product is different from what you meet in Kogi State. It's different from the one you meet in Lagos State. And businesses say that is confusing. Apart from it being confusing, it generates multiple taxation. Now, in this, with all due respect, Tinubu's regime of tax-driven economy, most state governments are wont to slam in all manner of taxes. And if policies are not coordinated, your efforts, those coming to invest, businesses when they come in, will discover that they come into a burden of uncoordinated policies. Are the Southeast states conscious of harmonizing policies to help drive what you are doing? That is point number one. Two, are you doing anything on your own to get the regulatory agencies to standardize processes and procedures for those coming in?
Yeah, thank you very much. Basically, Southeast is a contiguous zone. That's one thing you can be sure. And from the way we see it, the sector centers are different. If you talk of agriculture, you're talking of Ebonyi State. If you talk of commerce, talk of Abia. If you talk about industrialization, you talk about Anambra, Onitsha, Newasis. Talk of hospitality industry, that is Imo. So basically, we are lucky on that because of that compartmentalization in the Southeast. I don't see much difference in policy issues between these 5 states. The only thing is that there are some of the overzealous government agencies who can go out of their way to harass and intimidate an investor. So basically, we are working. There's always this kind of meeting they have, which we were brought into you, that it is between the state governments and the regulatory agencies, all meeting once in a while, I think once every quarter or so, where they discuss and agree on certain things. On our own, we are thinking of having a regular joint section with all regulatory agencies in the Southeast. Reason is that if you don't do that, this agency, you know, there is this love, there's no love lost, or how do they say it, between producers and investors and regulators. Southeast in particular, they don't want to see regulators. I must say it so that they can hear it. They are not comfortable with the regulators. Not that they don't want to obey the regulators, but the fact remains that some of these regulators, once they are posted to the side, some of them become overzealous. Some of them do maybe 1 or 2 bad eggs in them, because any government regulator is going there to enforce the strict enforcement.
Dr. Gordon, I think you are talking tongue in cheek. Can I put it openly that most of these regulators, officials of these regulators posted to the Southeast, see it as harvest time?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Actually, what happened is that nobody was asking questions. Let's take it that way. We started asking questions. We want to now meet with all of them. We'll be working together, and then that will now make them to have the kind of relationship between the industries and the manufacturers and the SMEs, so that we don't want somebody producing a shoe in Aba and say it's made in Spain. We don't want somebody producing a motor parts at Newi, and when he see a regulator, he will run away. As a matter of fact, National Agency, Automotive Design and Development Agency, according to their policy, domiciled automotive component part production in the Southeast. Now, why would a producer will be hiding? No, we will not want to assure a manufacturer that the regulator is fair, and he will not go out of the way to victimize him. We want to assure the regulator that the producer is not doing any shady thing. After all, that's why we are promoting export trade, because the most important thing we want to focus our attention now is that we want to promote this export out of Southeast. And you cannot export if you are not standardized. With GON, we want to remove the file when Nandi will be producing only for Ikenna to sell. Yeah. That's what is happening today. You see somebody producing a component part. He's producing it and is supplying it to
the mechanic.
Not to mechanic. There's a spare part dealer that sells his products. So he only produce when Emeka has sold, finished selling. No, these things have to go out. It is needed in the West Coast. Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and the rest of them. They need it. In the Central Africa and Southern Africa, they need it. So we encourage them. We want to encourage them to be able to now work with the regulator, so that the regulator will make sure that they standardize. There are certification processes done by National Export Promotion Council. For goods to leave this country, you must start to certify them, and it's very costly venture. Now we want them to work. It's only when you work with regulator that they will certify your product. So we want them to close that gap, and that is what we are doing now as a matter of urgency. Let these regulators come together, work with us, work with the producers, so that we can form the synergy. That is the basic thing that will help production in the Southeast, which before now is not there. Nobody was asking questions.
That is great, because I remember that many years back when we were children, Japanese products, especially textiles, were called obey the wind, poor quality.
Yeah.
When you eventually got to Lagos, you could go buy Chinese cotton for peanuts because they were not as good as Van Heusen or Arrow, which came from the West.
Yes.
Our producers, our manufacturers in the Southeast seem not to be comfortable being regulated. That's a picture, is a video I could have shown you of rods, iron rods, about 12 years ago. 12 mm iron rod, and today 16 mm iron rod. The 12 mm iron rod is bigger than the 16 mm iron rod today. The question is, Nigerian Standard Organization, other regulatory agencies, are they regulating in such a manner as to drive these boys under? That is one. Two, do they educate them on the right raw materials and the right processes? The reason is that some of our boys who are honestly producing may want to do a quick production because the market demands it, and in the course of doing that they may not use the right material. But somebody should be there to say these are the materials for this kind of production and these are the processes, and that is the function of the regulator. Are these regulators making themselves available as teachers of the process? Because it is Nigeria's name and Nigeria's quality that is at stake. Dr. Kwena, before answering me that question, I take a short break. Well, I'm still discussing critical matter this morning. The Southeast economic opportunities being driven by the Southeast Business and Investment Summit Group. We are looking at the payoffs. We are looking at the challenges. We are looking at who ought to do what. We'll continue this conversation after this short break. Please stay with us. welcome back. Just before I took that short break, I was asking Dr. Kwena, the regulator, the standards, the processes, as an educator, making sure that what comes out of our manufacturing lines meets the quality. Are they doing that job, Dr. Kwena?
Yeah, I think every regulator has a mandate. The mandate is to regulate production, to make sure that production is standardized, and that to make sure the production meets certain limit. I don't think Standard Organization of Nigeria, if who are the upper regulators in terms of standard, will go out of their way and allow a regulator, a producer to underproduce. And even the producer himself needed the market. If you underproduce, if you make sure your quality is down, you may not sell. Unless you are not going to sell in the open market, or you want to go underground market and sell. But is a serious thing, and I know that if the regulator works well with the producers, things will be regulated effectively. They will never see themselves as enemies, and that's what we're working at. We don't want to see them as enemies, so that whatever good comes from the Southeast, it is respected as quality. Look at what is happening in Catalonia in Spain.
Yeah.
What did they? It's just like Southeast. It will have similar history. Now they say, okay, let's do to Spain. They do good for Spain by bringing the best for Spain out of Barcelona and the rest of them. And today, what is happening? They are doing it well. So our target is that out of this East, we must start having standardized things. That is where we are coming from. And we are making sure we are bringing market to you who is producing. Where it's no longer the era of you produce, don't where to sell. What part of what my team is doing is that they are looking at products that can be exported from Southeast. Now they're taking inventory. Now, we equally, another group is even looking at the markets. The market in the West Coast, the markets in the rest of Africa, the market in Europe, the market in America, and the rest of the world. Now, that is why we are particular about standard. So that if you give these requests are coming, and we're asking you to supply, we must be sure that what you are supplying meets the standard. If not, you waste money, because if it's under if the standard is low, they will be rejected, and nobody will like his product to be rejected. And I think they are gradually, the producers are gradually queuing in, seeing that there's no alternative to it. And the fear, some of them fear taxes. That's another area. We're not telling them that the more you pay tax, the better for the economy and the better for you, because we are equally looking for funding for you. That's part of our mandate, part of what we want to do. We are making sure that we work towards them getting grants, getting aids, getting counterpart funding, some fund from international development partners and agencies that are willing to support growth. Now, some of them before now don't attend training, they don't attend workshops, they don't attend all this. We want to make sure that we mainstream them into major programs where they can attend. You see, when you attend these things, you meet colleagues from other clients and you share ideas, share address, share contacts. You see that they are not losing anything, that is, you're even gaining more. And then the other day I heard talks with the Bank of Industry, and they told me challenges where Southeast industries are not accessing their fund, and we are sitting down now to work out what do we do. We are now working on the mandate that this year no less than 10 companies in Southeast must access that fund, and you cannot do it if you are not paying tax. You cannot do it if you don't have track record. So these are things we are telling them. Now, if you are assessing a low interest fund, is it not better for you that you get 3, 4, 5 under 9%, one single digit interest fund to put into your business, than that you are producing under and you are not assessing it. And we're even looking at, we told them the option of clustering. You know, these are SMEs. Some of them are even micro. Now, why not, if it's okay, let them go and apply for fund with the Bank of Industry. The volume of fund may not be enough, and I know Bank of Industry may not be interested in giving 5, 10, 100 millions. They want big fund. So we're not looking at, can they cluster, especially within the value chain? And then if you can cluster, then they can get fund. And it's easy to repay such fund, because the each of the sector within the value chain is feeding the other. This one is feeding the other, this one is feeding the other, and the money is paid fast. So these are things we are exploring, and thank God the Bank of Industry are giving us green light that this is possible, and they are willing to discuss with us.
Dr. Kwenda, that brings me into what I had not wanted to, I didn't think about it before, and that is the stock exchange in the Southeast. The stock exchange is supposed to be a platform for raising funds for big businesses, and of course selling your stock and your shares and all that. But the stock exchange in ONITSHA is as good, it's as dead as downhill.
Yes.
It's Southeast. Are they afraid of accessing fund? And everybody wants to run on the money in his pocket.
Thank you very much. It's a major challenge. You know, most of our businesses are family businesses. On the side of it, we are doing a program, what we call the transgenerational business trainings. We will soon start running programs on transgenerational, making people plan succession planning, making sure that your business doesn't die when you die. You know, that is a major problem. You have the Kennedy Chukwus and there's the Leo Chukwus of this and the rest of them. Now, that is on one side. Two, we are now, if they are structured, you know, we notice that most of them are not structured.
Not structured at all.
If they are structured, it's easy for them to go to stock exchange. Because I keep on asking them, what's the essence of it that you're a big organization that maybe your capital base is about 10 billion. Now, you keep holding that. When you know that you can recapitalize that 10 billion, call it 20%, and go to the market and leverage another 80%, it helps you. It's a win-win thing for you. You still have your money is still intact. You still intact with you. You're even a major shareholder. You can even do a private placement by getting your friends to, at the end of the day, 20%, you make and 10%, you make 50%, and you sell 50%. That 50% you and your friend is holding. It's still your money, and you are making more profit. So definitely, our challenge in SAT is that most of them being family businesses, they feel that, oh, we don't want it to leave our family. You know, they started like with Okwena and Sons Limited, from there to, no, Okwena and Brothers Limited to Okwena and Sons Limited. Now, happily, pay that good hand very well. Because it sounds very ridiculous when you hear that somebody is just, that are willing to partner with them. And then, while they produce there, whatever they produce there, whatever market they have there, they transfer it here. That's transfer of technology. And then the same industry is then producing it here. That's our own local industry, producing the same product, the same technology, the same everything, and be marketing it in Nigeria and Africa. That is a program we already entered.
Also franchise transfer.
Yes. That's a program we are already packaging here now with the Enyimba Economic City and West Africa and World SMB Center. So it's all about technology transfer. It's all about innovation. Then we encourage in a research, because there are local research that are local to us, considering our environment. There are things that are local to us, and that's why we are eager to put more emphasis, to partner with the National Center for Arts and Culture, so that we can use our creative art to even
also tell our story.
To tell our story, own our story. Because if we don't do that, we have some challenges as a people. So all these things are things we want to package and then give it to the world. If I'm going to buy with you, I must know you, and that's the essence of what we are doing in that.
Well, Dr. Kwenda, I want to thank you for coming in the past 55 almost 57 minutes, I've been in a conversation that I'm involved in, as it were, on the Southeast economy, issues in the Southeast economy. And I've been conversing with Dr. Ifediokwena, who is the Director General of the Southeast Business and Investment Summit Group. Can I thank you enough, Dr. Kwena? Thank you very much for coming to the program.
I'm very grateful. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, that's the morning for this morning. My name never changes.